It seems in recent years there is a movement occurring in Bristol to have more time and money invested into the city's rail network due to the heavy increase of road traffic. This is a major contrast to the event that occurred in the 1960s when the infamous Beeching Report was published, signaling the closure of many stations and several miles of track, and sadly Bristol was not immune to this. Stations like Brislington, Fish Ponds, and St Anne's Park were just a few to name that did not survive this report. Brislington has bare remains of its once active railway status, with just the platform visible beneath the growing vegetation, site now used as a storage facility behind the Tesco supermarket. Although there was hope restored for Bristol's railways when the link to the Avonmouth docks was reopened in the early 2000s to help to ease the traffic congestion on the road that runs underneath the Clifton Suspension Bridge in the Avon Gorge, which was commemorated by a special small train hauled by a Bristol dock tank engine, the Portishead. Now, we find ourselves in 2013, where the City Council recognised that the road situation has either remained the same or has worsened. Personally, I'm inclined to think that it's the latter when you consider recent statistics have revealed that Bristol is more congested traffic-wise than London and is, as such, the most congested city in Britain. Which, when you think about it at first, based upon the city's size, is a little bizarre when you consider that London is a major metropolis when compared to the size of Bristol. That said, Bristol is a major city itself size-wise, and so in that regard it's not hard to see why the council is looking to take action to curb this problem. Getting the Portishead line reopened is something that local residents themselves have been campaigning for years, as the town has grown massively in the last decade with more and more businesses such as Costa Coffee, Waitrose, McDonald's and cooperative trading. It's a popular town to reside in outside of Bristol, with places like the city itself, Weston-super-Mare and Cribbs Causeway being within reachable distance with the links to the M4 and M5 motorways. But this is where the problem occurs. There are so many cars and various other road vehicles that enter and exit the town to the point that it's a massive long queue that just adds more time to the commuter's journey in the morning and evening. Reopening the railway line would ease the traffic and carbon emissions when you consider that railways have 0.3, which is 1% emissions, versus 19.8, 56%, which passengers' cars produce. And now, onto the subject of this video. One station in particular that I think deserves to be reopened and has a very strong case for is St Anne's Park, as I mentioned earlier. Now, I am a former resident of Brislington within the St Anne's Park region, and it would be a great credit and service to the area to have that station reinstalled because of two factors. One, it would help reduce the flow of road traffic through the area and onto the A4 Bath Road, as the amount of traffic that passes along there increases with each passing year. And two, the 36 bus service is evidently the only service that passes through there, and from what I've read is one that people try to find ways of avoiding. St Anne's Park would make commuting into Templemead and the city much easier and faster, having to bypass the A4 and various other back roads, and it would benefit the environment as mentioned with the carbon emissions figures. Now, I already know one argument will be that it's too close to Templemeads. While this is true, Bedminster Station is in fact even closer to Templemead by 2 minutes rail distance as opposed to St Anne's, which is roughly 4 to 5 minutes if you're not travelling by high-speed train. David Wood, who has a column section in the Bristol Post, had this to say on the Greater Bristol Rail website. He says, St Anne's Park would be ideal to serve Broom Hill and St Anne's. The approach road to the old station is still visible. Because this old station is on the busy Great Western Main Line from Bristol Templemead to London Paddington, If any new station was built, in my mind, it would have to be built with loop lines coming off the main line connecting up to a new platform. Because of lack of space on the down road to Bristol Temple Meads, it would be a good idea to build one platform on the upside to London Paddington. Make this platform long enough for passengers going to Keynsham, Bath, Chippenham, Swindon, Didcot, Reading, London Paddington. Or the other direction to Bristol Temple Meads, Bedminster, Parsons Street, Nailsea and Backwell, Yatton, Wirral, Weston Milton and Weston-super-Mare, and all stations to the West Country in Somerset, Devon and Cornwall. And his statement makes complete, perfect sense. As mentioned before, the area so far is served by the number 36 bus route, which has the worst reputation in the city according to one poster. And I recall reading by another poster that the approximate cost of rebuilding the station with the platform, cross points and various other essential building would be £4 million. While some may consider that to be expensive for a small station, you have to take in inflation factors and the current state of the economy into account, as most things from groceries to travel costs have gone up in price in the last 5 years since the credit crunch. Reopening the station would benefit local businesses and also in the Avon Meads retail park, which has such outlets as Currys, the Range Warehouse, Marks and Spencer's Food, McDonald's, Krispy Kremes, and the Showcase Multiplex Cinema that stands on a former railway site before the area was transformed in the early 1990s to what some people have dubbed as Little America. And as most people know, I am a big movie fan, and I would most certainly use that station as a means of bypassing Broadmead and then go to Avonmead from St Anne's to get to the Showcase. St Anne's would make a wonderful difference to help the community, but it's up to the people of Brislington, St Anne's Park and the City Council of Bristol to recognise this need and to make it happen.